We really hope you like this video. Just subscribe, like, and click the bell to be notified of more content just like this. Welcome to Gibraltar Spiders, Charlie McCann and John Richardson from the Sunday Mirror. Let's start with Rico. The big news of all the week is you're getting your jab, aren't you?
The jab this afternoon, yes.
It must be over 70s, is it? Time, is it?
Well, it's for specialists, of course. You know, people that are doing this.
Specialists indeed. How are you, Rico? What's happening this weekend? Where are you?
The big one tomorrow. I'm at sunny Stoke against Luton Town. How the mighty have fallen.
No, not at all. Good game. Charlie, is it all eyes on Everton going to get a first win in, what is it, 23 years at Anfield?
No, probably not. No. Of course they're not. They are as good as they played against Fulham, and I mean, there's just been these shoots where you two have taken the mickey out of me, such as 5 goals against Spurs, God knows how, 3 goals against Manchester United, and they did play well early in the season. Say, for example, the Merseyside derby, the reverse fixture, when we did do well, when people like Alan were fit, when James Rodriguez was, but the bottom line is we are a pretty ordinary team. As soon as we got beat by Fulham, I backed Manchester City -1 against Everton in a double with Liverpool -1. Now, I'll be happy if Everton, get a point or at least don't, but I think this might be a bad time to play Liverpool, because I thought Liverpool were good midweek. Okay, they were aided and abetted by some really poor German defending, but I think it might be a long evening for us tomorrow night as well, I must say. No, I'm not looking forward to it particularly, but hope springs eternal. You never know, do you? You never know.
It's quite funny. Jurgen Klopp, Rico, had to sort of come out and say, "Look, I'm going nowhere, and I'm absolutely fine." It's something that you've been sort of chatting about since we've started this program. I kind of smile to myself thinking, well, people are catching up here.
I wouldn't put money on him staying too long, by the way. As I said last week to you boys, I mean, I do feel that after Euro 21 or 20, whatever it's called, is completed, I think there'll be pressure then for Joachim Löw, and I think that good old Jurgen could be tempted, because, as I've said to you, for weeks now, things are not right behind the scenes. He's become very frustrated. Also, he's had his personal issues with his mother dying, which we send our condolences, which puts pressure on everybody, as we all know. So yeah, it's not the best of times for him at the moment. But as Charlie said, the side reacted very well in midweek. It proves that they're playing for him, all this ridiculous things about he's lost the dressing room and all that. That's not true, one bit. It's just they've had some bad performances, which happen, don't they? But not all is well behind the scenes, but watch this space.
I think it was probably a good break for Liverpool to play in Europe, wasn't it, Charlie?
Yeah, I think so. Klopp did go odds on to be the next manager to lose or leave his post earlier in the week. I think I shared text with yourself, Rob. I do think that the Roy Hodgson will. I do think that maybe there's a passing of the ways imminent, maybe at Crystal Palace. I thought it was significant that results again against Burnley. I think it's widely held that they think a lot of Sean Dyche at Selhurst Park, and maybe Dyche looks, as if he surely should be given what is. I don't know whether you would perceive Crystal Palace as a bigger job, but maybe that might be used as a stepping stone. But surely Sean has done such a good job. But I probably think it is a good opportunity for Liverpool, and there's no way. I mean, whether some of the players have slightly disappointed, and again, the Leicester game was shambolic. Some of the defending, Alisson, who, let's get it right, everyone's been telling that he's the best goalkeeper in the world. That's 3 mistakes, maybe at least 3 mistakes in two games. But that clean sheet I thought was vital midweek against in Germany. And sorry, course, in Germany in the Champions League.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I think and interesting. Salah 5-6 holds a three goal lead in the race for the Golden Boot as well. I think it's finding money in the street, because Liverpool, of course, have got to play irrespective of whether the Premier League, they've got to finish in the top four. And so I think they'll be fighting to the end. And of course, I still think they'll finish second, but are 6 points behind Leicester and 6 points behind Manchester United.
Can I pick up on what you mentioned about Roy Hodgson? It's an open secret, I think, that Roy's days are numbered, and probably that this will be his last job. But let's hope it all ends mutually in the summer. It'd be horrible to see Roy kicked out at the end of the season. For once, let's have things done properly, and let him get to the end of the season. A change is on the cards. As Charlie said, Sean Dyche is well up there. As you know, I know Sean Dyche well, and I'm certain he would jump at that job, because I do think he looks upon it as a bigger job, and also it's more in the spotlight. It's South London, etc., etc. Eddie Howe is another contender for that job, but Roy's been a fantastic servant to football. Let him go on gracefully. Don't kick him out before the end of the season. But that's asking a lot in this ruthless world of football, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I mean, he does what it says on the tin: keep Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Well, Roy's done it. Rumblings about Jose. I don't know, Rico, as a journalist, whether we're in a gossipy kind of spell at the moment where, City have run off with the league. I'm not saying there's not much happening. Of course there is. There's football every week. I just think when Mauricio Pochettino comes up with a stunning victory away against Barcelona, even though Sheffield United, with all due respect to Sheffield United, could beat Barcelona at the moment. There's that sort of glaring, there's Poch back in the spotlight. Jose's maybe not doing it. All the spotlight was on Jose again this week, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sports editors don't like grey areas. They want it black or white. So you're either the best manager under the sun, or you're getting kicked out. You're being sacked next week. And that's the situation we find ourselves in. I've noticed over my years of reporting, it's completely changed. You just can't come on and say, there's nothing really happening. They want something to happen. So I'm afraid you have to fuel a crisis at times. And at other times you go overboard how great people are. We're responsible for that. I hold my hands up. I've done it. And I'm not proud of it. But that's the world. That's the world we live in. Jose at the moment, there's no, of course he's under pressure, but he's not under severe pressure. I mean, Daniel Levy has brought him in. Daniel Levy doesn't want to be seen to be sacking him. It's another mistake, isn't it? There's also huge compensation. He's on £15 million a year. Not bad if you can get it. So yeah, he's under pressure. But watching them last night, I know the opposition wasn't great, but they were on the front foot. And that's what Tottenham should be all the time. They should be a front foot team. But Jose, as you know, is a pragmatist, and he doesn't go along with that. And I think at times, he messes it up for himself, basically. That team should be doing a lot better.
I don't know, Charlie, if you saw much of the European stuff in the week. Is it sounds a bit ridiculous, but is Erling Haaland the real deal in your view?
Yeah, I think he is, yeah. I did see his goals again midweek. Whether he would be, we discussed, I think only last week that, I don't think Cavani is the answer in the long term, and Haaland really would be. Whether if one of the Liverpool strikers moves on, whether that would become more. But I think that at this moment in time, I think we all agree that he would improve Manchester United. Martial, Rashford, they're good players. They're fine players, but they're not that sort of. I don't think either of them is going to get you not 20, but maybe 25 goals. That's going to be the difference in changing Manchester United. I know Manchester City haven't had a striker scoring, but they can still, you've got Gundogan, I think, is the top scorer at 11 in the Premier League so far this season. But they're quite freakish at the moment. But I think Haaland really is the one. Just an interesting one on Ronald Koeman as well. I received a number of texts after their 4-1 thrashing PSG from Liverpudlians saying Ronald Koeman promised to make Everton into Barcelona, and has changed Barcelona into Everton.
Brilliant. But by the way, can I get a rant out the way?
Oh, go on.
I mean, I know UEFA are run by buffoons, but we are in the midst of a pandemic, aren't we? Throughout Europe, and we've got all the European clubs going all over the show for these so-called home games. I can't believe it.
Well,
Budapest, Rome, all over Greece. I mean, what is going on?
Well, to me, just to add to that, bizarrely, my wife's Hungarian, and obviously there's always kinds of, which I can never understand because Hungarian's an impenetrable language. But she was talking to friends this week, and there's a lockdown after 8 o'clock in Budapest. There's actually, you're not allowed out there, and I'm thinking, why are they? If it's that bad, why are they playing in Budapest?
I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, it's affecting the integrity of the competition because teams that are supposed to be home aren't at home. They're in effect playing 2 away games. Some teams play at home, and it's just going all over the show. I can't for the life of me, I can't get my head around it. I think it's the balmiest thing that I think's happened. Well, we're obviously going to have the European Championships. That's going to be even probably more balmy because it's supposedly still going to go ahead in 12 different cities. Football wants to have a reality check. It's in this, its own bubble, and it doesn't seem to know what's going on outside it. I just cannot believe it. And I'm not a huge fan of the Champions League. You respect it, and I've covered God knows how many finals and enjoyed them. But this season, it's just crazy, absolutely crazy.
Charlie, what game apart from Liverpool and Everton stands out for you this weekend? You've got Arsenal, Man City. We've got West Ham and Tottenham with David Moyes has been, he's in such great form their side. But I can't help looking at Manchester United and Newcastle because, I mean, we'll get to Rico in a minute, but suddenly Newcastle, they really are in danger because if Fulham have beaten Burnley, they play, who've got Fulham, got Sheffield United, haven't they, this weekend? Yeah. And, that gap's not big enough for Newcastle with all their injuries.
No, Newcastle 9-4 to go down. But, as you say, Fulham, we all thought when Newcastle won at Goodison, what a terrific result that was. Well, Fulham put that in perspective by putting Everton were as equally poor. No Callum Wilson as well. I don't know how long that's for Newcastle, but no, they're not out of the woods at all. You would still think that the 3 are going to go down to Sheffield United and West Brom, who were all given, I think, at Turf Moor as well. And they're fighting, and they're going to fight. And Newcastle have got to. And I don't know how they are with the injuries. Sam Maximan hasn't really came back with a bit of a, but that sort of, and Almiron, could you, if really Newcastle need to grind out a result, I wonder as well. And I don't know what Sebastian Shaw, I know John thinks quite highly of him, how long he was out for with that injury as well, whether he's out for the season. But yeah, it still looks as if the logical 3 at the start of the season, where everyone thought. But no, and there is a history, of course, of one team that you don't think dropping right through. But, I hope it's not Newcastle. I don't, I've got to be honest, I don't want Newcastle to go down. Jesus, nobody does. Fantastic city, fantastic football support, and a one club city as well. It's it's unthinkable Newcastle going down again.
Rico,
they're in trouble. They're in trouble for Charlie's gone through them. I mean, the injuries. They cannot afford an injury to Callum Wilson. He's out for almost 2 months. Fabian Schär almost certainly out for the season. And Manquillo has been the best right back. He's out for 8 weeks. The Edlin's already been sold, so he's just got Kraft, and you almost misheard that. I mean, you can take your imagination on that one.
The P is silent.
They're in trouble. And, you speak to Newcastle fans, a lot of Newcastle fans, we're going down with this and that, and we won't come back up again, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I just think with Newcastle, they can still pull out 1 or 2 decent results. I mean, they could go and win at Man United, for instance. They are capable of doing that. But this is it. Joe Linton, the stage is yours. 14 million signing. It's all yours, mate. Let's see what you can do. And let's hope you prove people wrong. The other thing is Almiron, who's probably been the best player over the last two or 3 months. He's going to go off on international duty, to South America. So there's talk about what does he have to quarantine? So he could be out for another 10 days. So they're definitely in trouble. They've got to pull out, 1 or 2 decent results. The only hope I do have, and I keep on banging on about Sheffield United, looks like I'm going to be proved wrong. I thought they might still escape. I still think they are capable of some decent results, and there could be one at Craven Cottage on Saturday. Hopefully.
Surprisingly, he scored another 2 goals last night for Manchester United. His record's unbelievable. We've not really talked about Bruno Fernandes, Charlie, on this show throughout the season. What's your take on him? How good is he in the pantheon of foreign players?
I thought his goal against Everton, where he fainted and Tom Davis went to the right and he stopped and he chipped into I remember a goal Cantona scored, and that is as highly, I think, as you can. His record of goals and assists is quite staggering. He is the king of the castle now, with respect to the Pogba of this world and things like that, which we all thought he was going to be talisman. This guy is the number one. Who did
you mention then? Paul Pogba, who's he?
yeah, injured again, I'm afraid. I think he has been. I don't like him particularly. I think he is a wonderful communicator. I heard him after the game yesterday, after the Bilbao game. He spoke very, very well, but he's a bit of a snide, I think, on the field. But we all need 1 or 2 of them in our team as well. But he is absolutely top class. One other person as well who I think in that Manchester United side, who doesn't get much, is Scott McTominay, who I think a lot of people thought was a complete nutter journeyman. And now I just think he can put a foot in. He's scoring vital goals. He is integral, I think, now to that Manchester United side. He allows Bruno Fernandes, go on, you go and play. Me and Fred will sort of, and of course, when you think that whether it be Eric Bailly or the other centre-back alongside Harry Maguire, they're not the greatest, and they certainly don't want people running at them. McTominay, I think he could eventually end up in the centre of defence alongside Maguire, and I think he could be captain of Scotland. I know Robbo is at the moment, but this guy, I think, is a real leader. But Bruno Fernandes, sensational. He's not just a fantasy football player as well. I mean, his stats on fantasy football are through the roof. But he's a real footballer. Do I like him? No. Do I respect him?
Rico?
You bet.
That's spot on, Charlie. Just next time Bruno Fernandes scores, see how many people come and celebrate with him. Not many. He's disliked in the dressing room. He's Roy Keane. He's not quite Roy Keane's style, but he's a barrack. He's a dressing room barrack room lawyer. He's always at them. He has a goes at individuals.
That's a good thing, isn't it?
It is to an extent. You can't keep on doing it. I think Roy Keane sort of chose his moments, and he was very much for the club. I think Bruno Fernandes, I echo everything Charlie said, but a lot of it is for himself. I think he thinks he's a lot better than he is. He is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He is a good player, but he's that sort of, Charlie called it a bit of a snide. And I think that sums him up. Excellent footballer. Whether he's good in the long term for the dressing room, I don't know. But I do know that he's not the most popular at Old Trafford.
Is it surprised you, or does it say something about the pull of English-British football that Thierry Henry looks like going to be the next Bournemouth manager?
Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. He's supposed to be in a straight fight for David Wagner. One is a manager, one couldn't manage a chip shop. Simple as that. I mean, if Bournemouth go down the route of, have a look at Thierry Henry's record. I mean, I'm giving away a few secrets here. I know Graham Jones quite well, and obviously they're all together at Belgium. Right, I'll just leave it there. Ridiculous. It's an example of somebody going for a so-called big name. I mean, Thierry Henry knows nothing about the Championship. David Wagner does. You know, he did a great job at Huddersfield. For me, no question, it should be David Wagner, but it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be Thierry Henry. So 6 months' time, they'll be looking for another manager. Simple as that.
We're going to round up. I know Rico's going to turn his nose up here, but I mean, when you talk about crazy decisions, I'm still getting over 1.6 million for Chris Morris in the IPL, Charlie. What about you?
Well, I saw that, you know, it was, I mean, Chris Morris's stats are, you know, pretty good, and, you know, they know. I must say, I saw that and thought it was upside down. The thing where Chris gone for the most, and I was thinking, no, surely you this is Chris Morris who comes up. I mean, he's got a bit of pace. That can't bat. He obviously can't field particularly well. You know, it was bizarre, absolutely bizarre. I'm glad you said, because I honestly saw, when I saw the IPL thing, and, you know, and it's going through, the tick is going through, and it said, I honestly thought there was an error, you know, and someone would think that.
So did we. So did we. Go on.
It allows me to have another rant. I'm a huge cricket fan, and what is going on with England and the Test match? You know, you can pick and choose when you want to play. You know, all this. Oh yeah, we've been in a bubble, so blah blah. You can be in a bubble for 20 years after you're retired. You don't need to be rested. And then you got Moeen Ali, who goes and, you know, what is he? How many?
707. They were fighting for him at 700.
Yeah.
Do you know the most astonishing thing? Well, we stay on this for a bit. Is that, you know, when you talk about cricketers throughout their whole careers, you know, county cricket is paid so poorly, etc. But suddenly that's football style figures. 1.6 million for what, 2 months' work? Is it, if that?
Oh, if that.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's staggering, though.
What I do have a problem with is that, you know, Test matches should be the ultimate. That is it. You know, for cricketers. I mean, for Moeen Ali to come back for his first Test in 18 months and then decide, you know, okay, I'm going to take advantage of this. You know, leaving the bubble, I'm going to miss the next 2 tests. I can't get my head around it. Oh,
think about
Johnny Bairstow was missing for 2 tests. He's coming back. Josh Butler's gone away. I mean, this is making a mockery of England's Test team.
Charlie?
It is very surprising. I mean, some of it you can see the logic behind, say, Anderson coming back for the day-night test, which is next week. You can see and rested. Is there, you know, we knew it was going to it was real Bunsen burner, the last one, you know, and sorry, the first test as well to some degree. Moeen, of course, he had COVID and he was in self-isolation, so it must be difficult, I think, for him. And then to come back, get 8 wickets, then have a slog 43 and 18 balls. But the IPL 700 and something thousand, and he's been a bench warmer when he was last in the IPL. I mean, he didn't get a shirt. You know, he wasn't playing. Occasionally when he did, he wasn't very good. You know, and so that sort of staggers that. This third Test match, really looking forward to it. Day night, only the second ever in India, of course, and they don't have a. You know, they lost the first Test in Australia. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I think Archer back as well. I don't think Ashwin will be getting 100 again. Or he might, you know, because I thought that was absolutely pivotal. But Ashwin didn't fancy, and he was aiming for his fingers and things like that in the first Test as well. But it's and of course, you know, we haven't spoken about the World Cup, you know, the World Championship of Cricket in Lords in the summer. We know New Zealand are there. And it could be England, India, or Australia, and it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But Chris Morris 1.6, Moeen. Oh, good work if you can get it, guys.
Good work if you can get it, Charlie. Listen, thanks a lot. Stay with us, Rico. Thanks a lot, mate.
Good to see you, boys.
Is he there?
See you, mate. Take care.
What
wrap up
for Sunday that you can?
I've just had to rewrite my non-league. I was doing a piece on non-league, you know, clubs being bullied into playing. So sent that off last night, blah, blah, blah. And it's been just announced that the National Leagues North and South have been called null and void. So I've had to rewrite that. Yeah, I've done one or two things which are quite interesting. You have to find out. £1.
Yes.
Sunday Mirror with John Richardson. Rico, thanks a lot, mate. Charlie, thanks a lot.
See you guys.